Hello students, welcome to my classroom. Now we will learn the lesson Animal Kingdom. Learning objectives of this lesson. We are going to learn this lesson to understand the classification of Animal Kingdom, to identify and study the different groups of animals, to list out the general characteristics of animals based on the grades of organization, to differentiate animals according to the type of symmetry, coelom, and various body activity, to recognize that binomial classification has Latin and Greek words, to identify the first name as genus and second name as species in the scientific names of organisms, and to recall the salient features of each phylum. Children, what do we see around us in nature? We can see a variety of living organisms surrounding us in nature, and this is what is called biodiversity. We can see a variety of organisms in the sense a small plant to a big tree, a climber, a small bird, a big elephant, etc. So there are millions and millions of organisms living on this biosphere. Nearly 1.5 million species of organisms are already described by the biologists, and each one of them is unique. They have unique characteristic features. No two organisms are similar. They vary in their external appearance, internal structure, behavior, mode of living, etc. This diversity among the living organisms can be studied by arranging them in an orderly and systematic manner. For example, in a school, we will classify the students. We will group the students according to the age into the standards from 1st standard to 12th standard. In a library, all the books will be categorized according to their nature of the matter which is inside them, like fiction, story books, magazine book. So similarly, the method of arranging the organism in the group on the basis of the similarities and differences is called classification. So classification is the ordering of organism into groups on the basis of their similarities, dissimilarities, and relationship. So in the beginning, all these living organisms are classified into 5 kingdom system, and they are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. So these groups are formed based on cell structure. So how is the cell structure, whether they are prokaryotic or eukaryotic? And second one, mode of nutrition, whether they are autotrophic or heterotropic. Third one, body organization, whether they are cellular, cell level, or tissue grade of organization, or organ grade of organization, etc. And finally, based on the reproduction. So these groups are formed based on cell structure, mode of nutrition, body organization, and reproduction. Now, what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the science of classification. The first systematic approach to the classification of living organisms was made by a Swedish botanist. His name is Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus generated a standard system of naming organisms in terms of genus, species, and more extensive grouping using Latin terms. He only introduced the method of naming an animal or organism with two names known as binomial nomenclature. Example for which, man. The scientific naming is Homo sapiens. Homo is genus name, sapiens is species name. Similarly, amoeba, scientific name is Amoeba proteus, in which amoeba is genus name and proteus is species name. So genus name, when we are writing, it should be written with the starting letter capital letter, whereas the species name must be written with the small letter. On the basis of hierarchy of classification, the organisms are divided or separated into smaller and smaller groups, which forms the basic unit of classification. So here we can see the different units of classification. So this forms the hierarchy of classification. The first, the largest unit is a kingdom. For example, we shall take kingdom Animalia. So it constitutes all the animals together. So animals belong to the category heterotrophic. They depend on other organisms for their food. And all these animals will be classified into many phylums. And many phylums, each of this phylum will be classified into many classes. And each of the class will be classified into many orders, and each order will be classified into many family, and each family will constitute many genus, and each genus will constitute many species in it. So this is how the hierarchy goes. And which is the lowest unit of taxonomy? Species become the lowest taxonomic unit. In species, for example, the large Indian parakeet and the green parrot, they are of two different species, but they belong to the same genus. Because they are of two different species, they cannot interbreed. So genus, next stage is genus. It is a group of closely related species. So for example, the Indian wolf and the Indian jackal, they are placed in the same genus called Canis. The next is family. A group of genera with several common characteristic features form a family. For example, leopard, tiger, cat share some common characteristics and belong to the larger cat family Felidae. The next thing is order. A number of related families having common characters placed in an order. Example for which is monkeys, baboons, apes and man. Although they belong to different families, they are all placed under the same order, primates, since all these organisms possess some common features. Similarly, related and similar orders together form the class. So orders of different animals like rat, rabbit, bat, whales, chimpanzee and humans, since they have some common features, they are all placed under the class Mammalia. So different classes which are related will come under the same phylum. So classes like mammals, birds, reptiles, frogs and fishes, they constitute under the phylum Chordata because they have the notochord or the backbone. And all the phylum will be coming under the same kingdom. Animals can be classified based on the following features. First one is levels of organization. The levels of organization, we have already learned that all the atoms, many type of atoms and molecules together form the cell, and cells together will form the tissues, and tissues together form the many organs together form the organ system, and all the organ system form an organism. Here, if the organism is made up of single cell, it is said to be unicellular organism. If it has more than one cell, it is multicellular organisms. So in the cellular level, they are classified as unicellular and multicellular. Then they are classified based on the different levels like tissue, organ system, level of organization. The second feature is symmetry. What is symmetry? It is a plane of arrangement of the body parts. And symmetry can be of two types. They are the radial symmetry and the bilateral symmetry. In the radial symmetry, the body parts are arranged around the central axis. And so, if the animal is cut through the central axis in any direction, it can be divided into two similar halves. Example for this is hydra, jellyfish and starfish. Whereas in the bilateral symmetry, the organs are arranged along a central axis. And if the animal is cut through the central axis or one plane, we can get two identical halves. Example for which is frog. The third feature is germ layers. Germ layers are formed during the development of the embryo. This is nothing but the arrangement of the cells in the blastocyst in three different layers, and these layers give rise to different organs as the embryo becomes the adult. What are the three layers of the blastocyst? They are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. The organism with two germ layers are said to be diploplastic. It will have only ectoderm and endoderm. Example for this is Hydra. Whereas the organism which is having three germ layers, namely ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm in the middle of them, is called triploplastic. Example for this is rabbit. The fourth feature is coelom. Coelom is nothing but fluid filled body cavity. So this coelom or the body cavity will separate the digestive tract from the body wall. A true body cavity or the coelom is one located within the mesoderm. So according to the type of coelom present in the body, the organism can be classified into acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and coelomate or eucoelomate. In acoelomate, the organism will not have any body cavity. Example for this is tapeworm. In pseudocoelomate, the organism may have a false body cavity. Example is roundworm. And in true coelomate or eucoelomate, they will have the true body cavity or the true coelom will be present. Example is earthworm. So what is called as true coelom? The coelom has to be present in the mesoderm like this. So we can see the three germ layer. The blue color cell is the ectoderm, the pink color cells are the mesoderm, and in the center we can see the endoderm. In the pseudocoelomate, the coelom is present next to the endoderm, whereas in the eucoelomate, the coelom will be present in the mesoderm. Both the sides of the coelom, the mesodermal cells will be present. Whereas in the acoelomate, there will not be any body cavity, it will have only the digestive cavity. The next feature is the presence or the absence of the notochord. So if the animal is possessing the notochord, then the animal is said to be chordata. If it does not possess, it is invertebrata. So animal kingdom is further classified based on the presence and absence of notochord as invertebrata or non-chordates without the notochord and chordata with notochord. And this chordata is again classified into prochordata and vertebrata. So now let us see the outline classification of the animal kingdom or kingdom Animalia. So the fundamental features are given here. So levels of organization, symmetry, coelom or body cavity and phylum. So Animalia or all the multicellular animals, organisms. The unicellular animals come under the phylum Protozoa, that is not given here. So multicellular organisms are classified into cellular level and tissue organ system level of organization. So at the cellular level there is only one phylum, that is Porifera, phylum Porifera, first phylum. Then tissue grade organ system grade of organization can be again classified into based on the symmetry as radial and the bilateral symmetry. So radial is primitive and bilateral is higher. So radial symmetry we are having only one phylum, that is Coelenterata or Cnidaria. So bilateral symmetry we are having, it is again classified based on the type of coelom as acoelomate primitive, pseudocoelomate and coelomate higher. So acoelomate we have one phylum, that is Platyhelminthes, pseudocoelomate the next phylum Ascalminthus, and the rest of the phylums come under the coelomates or the true coelom. So what are the phylums that is coming under the coelomate? Phylum Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. First we are going to learn the phylums of invertebrata. The first phylum is Porifera. Porifera means pore bearers. Pore means holes because they have tiny holes on the surface of the body. They are called as pore bearers, Porifera. All are multicellular organisms. They are non-motile. They cannot move from one place to another. They are fixed in one place. All are aquatic. They live in water and commonly called as sponges. And they exhibit cellular grade of organization. Cellular grade of organization means even though all these organisms are multicellular, all the metabolic activities will be carried out by the cells independently. They will not combine to form the tissue. The body is perforated with many pores which are called as ostia. The water will enter through this ostia and get into a system called canal system inside the body. And the water will circulate in this canal system throughout the body and carries food and oxygen for the organisms to every cell of the organisms. The body wall contains spicules, and these spicules form the calcareous skeletal framework for the organism. And reproduction can take place both by sexually and asexually. Example for this is Euplectella and Cycon. The next phylum is phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. So Cnidaria or aquatic organism, they all live in water and mostly marine, in sea water. A few will live in fresh water. They are multicellular, many cells. They have radially symmetrical body with tissue grade of organization. So here the cells aggregate to form the tissue. And they are said to be diploblastic with two germ layers, ectoderm and endoderm. And mesoglia in the center of both ectoderm and endoderm, it is a jelly-like substance present between ectoderm and endoderm. Coelentron is the gastrovascular cavity and it is present centrally in the body of the organism with mouth surrounded by tentacles, short tentacles, and these tentacles bear stinging cells. So stinging means they will just sting and it will inject the poisonous material into the organism which come and attack on the body of the prey. And these stinging cells are called as cnidoblast cells or nematocysts. And that's why this group of organisms got the name Cnidaria. And they show polymorphism, which is the variation in the structure and the function of the individuals of the same species. The polymorphism, two types are seen. They are called as polyps and medusa. So some will be free swimming and some will be having sedentary life. That's why we call this as polymorphism. And they reproduce both by sexual and asexual methods. Example for this is hydra and jellyfish. Now we shall learn phylum Platyhelminthes, which comprises of flatworms. So organisms of this phylum are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and acoelomate. Triploblastic means they have three germ layer, namely ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Acoelomate, there is no body cavity. And most of these organisms are parasitic in nature. They have the suckers and hooks that will help the animal to attach itself to the body of the host. And they excrete by specialized cells called flame cells. And these organisms are hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means they will have the male and the female organs in the same individual. Example for which is liver fluke and tapeworm. Phylum Aschelminthes. They comprise of the roundworms. These animals are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and pseudocoelom means false coelom. Many of them are free living soil forms and some are parasites. The body is unsegmented and it is covered by thin cuticle. Sexes are separate, the male and female will be separate. Not in the case of Platyhelminthes, both the organs will be present in the same organism, that is hermaphrodite. Here the male and the female animals will be different. The common diseases caused by these nematode or the Ascalminthus roundworms are elephantiasis and ascariasis in human beings. Example for which is Ascaris and Wuchereria. Next phylum is Annelida. So Annelida constitute segmented worms. And these animals are bilaterally symmetrical, triploplastic and first true coelomate animals. They have organ system grade of organization. Here the organs combine to form the organ system, and their body is segmented, and these segments are called as metameres. These metameres are joined by a ring-like structure called annuli, from which they got the name phylum Annelida. They have setae and parapodia for locomotion, and here sexes are separate or united. So some are hermaphrodite, some they are found as male and female. Example leech and earthworm. So next to Annelida we have the phylum Arthropoda. Arthro means jointed, poda means leg, and these organisms are triploblastic coelomate animals. And here they have the exoskeleton which is made up of chitin. So chitin is a type of carbohydrate. They will cast off their exoskeleton and they will regrow it according when they grow from small to the bigger size. According to the increase in the size of the organism, they will cast off the old exoskeleton and they regrow the new one. And this process is called as molting. And they have the blood which is called hemolymph that will circulate in the spaces of the body. Inside the spaces of the body, they will not have any vascular system, and so it is said to be the open circulatory system. They have the gills and the tracheae or air tubes for respiration. They excrete by Malpighian tubules and green glands. And sexes are separate. Example prawn, crab, cockroach, millipede, centipede, spider and scorpion. Phylum Mollusca. They are soft-bodied animals. They live in diversified habitat. Some are marine, some live in freshwater, and some are land animals. The body is bilaterally symmetrical, soft, and there is no segmentation. The body is divided into head, muscular, foot and visceral mass. The foot will help in locomotion, and the body is covered by fold of skin called mantle, and this mantle secretes the outer hard calcareous shell. They respire through gills. They are called as ctenidia or lungs. And sexes are separate with larval stages. Example garden snail and octopus. Phylum Echinodermata. So echino means spiny and dermata means skinned animals. They exclusively free living marine organism. They live in seawater. They are triploblastic and true coelomates. They show organ system grade of organization. The adult organisms are radially symmetry, but the larvae remain bilaterally symmetry. They have water vascular system, which is a unique feature of them. The locomotion is affected by tube feet. The body wall is covered with spiny, hard, calcareous ossicles. Example is starfish and sea urchin.
Phylum Hemichordata. Hemichordates are marine organisms. Their body is soft and vermiform. Vermiform means worm-like organism. And their body is unsegmented also. They are bilaterally symmetrical organisms and they possess true coelom. They are coelomate. They also have the characteristic features of both non-chordate and chordate. Pharyngeal gill slits which is present in them is a chordate characteristic feature, whereas they lack the notochord which is a non-chordate feature. They are ciliary feeders. Ciliary feeders means the cilia which are present near their mouth parts. They will beat the water by which water current is formed, which will bring the food for them, and they trap these food particles from the water. That's why they are called as ciliary feeders. And they are in tuberculous form. Tuberculous means tubular structure, worm-like structures in the marine water. Example, Balanoglossus or acorn worms. Next we have chordata. Chordata is characterized by presence of three important features. They are presence of notochord, dorsal nerve cord, and pharyngeal gill pouches. What is this notochord? Notochord is a long rod-like support along the back of the organisms, and this separates the gut and the nervous system. In human beings, this only develops as the backbone. The next one is dorsal nerve cord. Dorsal nerve cord we can compare in human beings for spinal cord, and the pharyngeal gill pouches will be present. The chordates are triploblastic and coelomate organism, and the phylum Chordata can be again classified into Prochordata and Vertebrata. Prochordates are the forerunners of vertebrates, and these prochordates can be again subdivided into two subphylums, namely Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Now let us see the characteristic features of subphylum Urochordata. So in urochordates, the notochord is present only in the tail region. The notochord is restricted to the tail region alone in the urochordates. The adults will be sessile. Sessile means they are directly attached to the substratum. The body will be covered by a covering which is called tunic or test. Example, Ascidian.
The second subphylum of the Prochordata is subphylum Cephalochordata. These organisms are small fish-like marine chordates, and they have unpaired dorsal fins. You know what are fins? Fins are present in the fish for their locomotion. Similarly, these organisms will have unpaired fin on the dorsal end of the body, and the notochord will extend throughout the entire length of its body. Example, Amphioxus. Next we have vertebrata. Vertebrata are characterized by the presence of a vertebral column or the backbone. The notochord in the embryonic stage will be replaced by the vertebral column in the adult, and this forms the chief skeletal axis of the body. Vertebrates are grouped into 6 classes. The first class is the class Cyclostoma. Cyclo means circle-like. Stoma means mouth. They will have circular mouth. These are the jawless vertebrates. They will not possess the jaws. The body is elongated with the circular mouth. The skin will be slimy, and they will not possess any scales like the fishes. They are scaleless organism, and they live as ectoparasite of the fishes. They will attach themselves to the body of the fishes, and they extract the food for them from the body of the fishes. Example, hagfish. The next class is Pisces. Pisces are poikilothermic. What do you mean by poikilothermic? Poikilothermic means cold-blooded organism. They can change their body temperature according to the external environmental temperature. Pisces comprises of all the fishes. They are aquatic vertebrates, and they have streamlined body which is divided into head, trunk and tail. They will possess paired median fins. They will have the scales on their body, and they respire through the gills. The circulatory system consists of 2 chambered heart with 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. And there are 2 main types of fishes. They are cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. The fishes can be classified broadly into bony fishes and cartilaginous fishes. Cartilaginous fishes example shark and skates, and bony fishes example carp and mullet. Next we have class Amphibia. It comprises of four-legged organisms called tetrapods, and they have dual adaptation to live both on land and in water. Their body is divided into head and trunk, and they have moist skin with mucus gland. They respire through gills, lungs, skin or buccopharynx. They have three-chambered heart with two auricles and one ventricle. And they lay the eggs in the water, and these eggs will hatch out to form the larval form tadpole, and they will transform into adult. Example for this group is frog. Class Reptilia. Here the organism skin is covered by horny epidermal scales, and they respire through the lungs. All of them will have three-chambered heart except crocodile, which has four-chambered heart. And they lay the eggs with tough outer shell. Example for this group is calotis, lizard, snake, tortoise and turtle. This is calotis. The next class is aves. Aves means birds. Birds are homeothermic or warm-blooded organisms. Homeothermic means they can maintain their constant body temperature irrespective of the external temperature. Their body is spindle or boat shaped, and it is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail. The body is covered by feathers, and their forelimbs are modified into wings for flight or flying. The hind limbs are modified or adapted for walking, perching or swimming. You know what is walking and swimming. What do you mean by perching? They can hold the branch of the tree very firmly, by which they can even sleep in that position. And they respire through the lungs, which has air sac. These air sacs make the body of the bird very lightweighted, and this feature helps them to fly in the air. And their bones are also filled with air, and it is called as pneumatic bones, and it also makes their body weight light. And they reproduce by laying eggs, and the eggs will have large yolk and hard calcareous shell. Example parrot, crow, eagle, pigeon and ostrich. The final class of vertebrata is class Mammalia. Here the organisms are warm-blooded animals or homeotherms. That means they maintain their constant body temperature. Their body is covered by skin, and the skin possesses hair, sweat and sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands are otherwise called oil glands. And their body is divided into head, neck, trunk and tail. They possess the mammary glands which secrete milk for feeding the young ones. They have the external ear, which is called pinna, and pinnae plural, and this is the pinna of the animal. And the heart is four-chambered here with two auricles and two ventricles. They breathe through the lungs. Except the egg-laying mammals, there are some egg-laying mammals like platypus and spiny anteaters. Other than them, all the other mammals give birth to their young ones, and so it is said to be called as viviparous. If they give birth to their young ones, they are called as viviparous. The placenta is the unique characteristic features of all mammals. Example for mammals, rat, rabbit and man. And this is the outline classification of phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata that possess the notochord, nerve cord and pharyngeal gill slits can be classified into subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata and subphylum Vertebrata. Subphylum Vertebrata can be again classified into vertebrate without jaws and vertebrate with jaws. Vertebrate without jaws, it has only one class, that is class Cyclostoma. Vertebrates with jaws is classified into 5 classes, namely class Pisces, class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves and class Mammalia.